All right. So, last we left off, we got picked up by a scouting airship with Shapiro on board, coming to the rescue, getting you out of the rock gardens or the plains in between Kenrun and Staraluska. Upon getting onto the ship, we found some quarters and discussed what to do with certain items that we had acquired. And upon talking to Shapiro, learnt that House Jarosco does a little bit more than provide aid around the continent. There is almost a secret tier, secret level that they investigate the unknown and threats that could potentially rock the foundations of the continent. Currently, they are seeking investigation and action against the Emerald Claw, a group or a faction of shapeshifters and changelings who believe that they can bring about the rise of their species again. After talking with him and leaving the Dragon Shard and the ring in his possession for safekeeping and for security that he can promise in Staraluska, everyone kind of went back to their rooms and did their own thing. And Ghost, Vargir, and Puck had a bit to drink up on the deck before being joined by Molokov and Hera for a bit of a tale to be spun by Ghost, telling of his backstory and of how he has come from noble lineage and has been on the run. But being on the run has made him appreciate the family he has now found. Almost a bonding moment up in the stars between the party as they then head into the city to continue fighting against this threat. So as you arrive in Staraluska, you approach the harbour, which there is one tall lightning tower. You did see these towers kind of through the rain when you arrived, and as you approach it, the lightning arc kind of comes out and pulls in the airship to dock it. You can see around that there's probably 2 or 3 other ones of the size that you're on, and one quite large one that sits quite close to the ground, but it still is hovering. This is more of a kind of a galleon-sized airship and doesn't seem to have any insignia or anything on it that you notice straight away. As you hop off, Shapiro is guiding some of the crew to take some crates, and you will follow, heading down the tower. It is very, not regimented, but there are definitely processes to be done by docking an airship in Staraluska. You see Shapiro handing over some paperwork to one of the clerks, and they give a stamp and check over things, and there's a sort of routine. But by the time you get to the bottom of the tower, you are met by a busy marketplace harbour feel. There are noises around, there are people moving around. And as you step outside, there is a bit of fuss going on around one of the counters. A clerk is kind of furrowing his brow and, you can't do that. You know, he's arguing against someone. And opposite him, you see a quite tall, broad-shouldered elf with a bald head except for a buzz-cut mohawk that goes down the center, and a big, almost bushy white beard. He is dressed extremely finely, with silks and noble attire, and has a pair of red spectacles, or red tinted spectacles on. As he kind of just goes, no, you don't understand. We are merely going just for a couple of days. Shapiro kind of goes, ah, you lot might want to meet this man. He turns around to you. Please, let me introduce you. And he walks over to him and goes, sir. And see the man turn around and go, well, Shapiro. I wasn't expecting you back so soon. Looks over to you lot, which are all still together. And you must be the healthy lot of adventurers I've heard a lot about. Pleased to make your acquaintance, Josu Keeling. And he extends his hand to shake.
Josu Keeling?
Yep, so Joe-SU. J-O-SU.
I thought it was going to be like a boy named Sue thing.
Josu Keeling. And you hear Shapiro go, yes, these are the adventurers that we have brought to your attention. We have just got back from an endeavor. You see he's kind of picking his words carefully that there is a crowd around. We will be taking them back to the house just to debrief and let them settle in a little bit. Oh, yes, well, make sure you make yourselves comfortable. My home is your home and all that. I, unfortunately, am going away for a few days. Well, if I can get the paperwork across the line. How are you all?
Do I recognize any, like he said, he's fancily dressed, is that right?
Yes. You see quite a lot of the House Jarosco colours. He does have a little kind of a neck, like he's got a cape cloak on that's tied together with a griffin.
Okay. Is that a name I've heard before?
Roll me an intelligence check.
Geez, all right. That's an 18.
18. Josu doesn't sound familiar, but the last name Keeling does.
Mm-hmm. In what context have I heard it?
You think you've heard it somewhere recently.
Okay. Yeah, sort of. I'll try. Like, I think Puck's pretty good at hiding his emotions. He will give the guy a handshake when he puts his hand forward, but he's suspicious.
Sure. You feel the grip is quite tight. It's a very strong, firm grip. Even though he is quite, not dainty, but he doesn't show a lot of muscles. He's just quite broad-shouldered.
Josu Keeling sold his alchemistic empire and founded Star Alaska branch. Yeah, okay. Cool. So what did he ask us? How are you? I say, well,
Yeah.
a bit tired from our travels.
I can imagine. Well, Shapiro, you make sure they are well treated, and please help yourself to any of the fine beverages and food we provide back at the house. And you must be, he turns to Molokov and Hera.
Yeah, Molokov. Pleasure to meet you.
As with you, that's quite an interesting arm you've got there. You see him already looking at your mechanical arm. May I have a look quickly?
I'll sort of, I'll put my hand out like almost as like a handshake, and I probably won't let him look at it for too long.
Sure.
It's still going to be, poking out from under the cloak, but I'll probably pull back pretty relatively quickly.
Grabs your hand for the handshake, and I'm not sure how feeling works through your mechanical arm, but you probably get the impression that it matches your kind of strength in that grip. So he's got quite a hidden strength behind him.
Yeah, I imagine feeling with it is he does feel somewhat through it.
Yeah.
definitely would feel the pain if it.
It's not meaning to hurt, but it's just matching your strength.
Yeah.
And who do we have here?
My name is Hira. Nice to meet you.
And you too. Well, reaches out, shakes your hand. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some business to attend to at, let's call it my second home across the lake. Shapiro, please, make sure they're comfortable, and I'll be seeing you upon my return. And he kind of looks at Shapiro, and you see them, like, kind of give each other a nod. Yes, of course. Well, if you all don't mind, why don't we head back to the house straight away, and we can sort out our affairs there, unless anyone else has anything to attend to.
I don't know.
Not in town, no.
All right. This way. Hopefully we can find a carriage or something. And he walks kind of out from the crowd as Joe Sue turns back and starts talking to the clerk again. As you...
What is,
Go on.
What is across the lake, do you know?
You're asking Shapiro?
No, I'm gonna... Shapiro's sort of stepping out to go into the carriage. I've sort of just asked these guys, as we're, I guess, like, he's gone to talk to the clerk, and we're sort of, I guess, following behind Shapiro. I'll just sort of whisper it, well, not whisper it to the group, but lowly sort of, does anybody know what is across the lake?
Across the lake is... Oh, gosh. There it is. Lake Bray. I don't know where he's where he's going exactly, but there's a fort and a castle. But I don't know where he's headed.
Cyan, perhaps? Well, perhaps we can ask that question when we get back to the house.
That is a massive lake. Just realizing how huge that is.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know where he's headed, but it could be any one of a number of places.
Yeah, it is. I'm just waiting for the... You see Shapiro has hailed a horse and cart. If we all just come on in here... and at this point, Ghost and Vargir would have been talking off to the side, and we'll go, well, why don't you guys go ahead, and me and Ghost might try and figure some stuff out from the distance.
All right,
They
stay safe.
give their excuses and head off themselves.
Okay, looks like it's just us today. Are you going to ride Swift Scale next to the carriage?
I would rather stay with him, yes.
No problems at all. Just don't wander off too far. We'll need to get through the gates together. As you can understand, housing a lot of medicine and potions, some slippery fingers tend to try and get in our doors sometimes. And he hops up and into the carriage.
Little smirk from the little rogue.
But as you get into the carriage, Molokov and Hera, Puck, you are on the outside of it, and it kicks off and starts heading through the city. Probably takes about half an hour or so, but is there anything you want to do inside or outside the carriage whilst traveling?
I just want to observe, does the carriage have... It's not like a House Jarasco thing, is it? It's just a... Yeah, okay. I guess I want to just observe if the people in town look like pretty happy. And just, yeah, I'm really keeping my eye out for people who are Jarasco or with their colors or with their logo or on buildings.
Sure. Give me a perception check, please.
Not great. Perception. Oh, okay. 12?
12. no specific House Jorosco colours around, or if they are, it's merely a coincidence of people wearing two cloths of the same colour. But as you move through the city, people are milling about. They're going about their daily business, but there is still that remnants of a bit of dirt, if you want to put it that way. The streets aren't clean. You can tell that it's more of a city that looks nice when you keep your eyes in an upwards direction. There's a few beggars on some corners and stuff like that, but for most part, everyone seems to be either working or on their way to something important. The dress of the citizens... Say again?
So I was just going to ask: is there much of like a city guard presence, or like a
I'll get to it.
any sort of like militaristic sort of thing?
Yeah. So the citizens' clothes are kind of... They're not wealthy, but they're not rags. It seems like wealth of a time that's once gone. People are dressed nicely, almost out of expectation, but the suits and stuff they wear, or the noble jackets and stuff they wear, are torn at the edges and seem to be losing their color a little bit. So it's almost like a once vibrant city, and you've kind of turned down the hue or something on it, and everything seems just a little bit dull, as people kind of go about their business and such. And we'll say it's about mid-morning at the moment. You do notice on a couple of the corners there are what look like guards. They are wearing a more goldish uniform, maybe call it bronze. They have either a spear or a short sword on the hilt, on their hips, and they have a emblem of the sun on their chest. You probably would recognize these as the Brayland shields. Brayland being the region that you're in, and Brayland has a king, and these are kind of the King's Guard, but there are a lot of ranks, and there are a lot of it's basically like your local police. You would probably imagine they're usually in pairs or threes. Some of them walking around, some of them are at a stall, not hassling, but just having a chat to the owner and eating one of the apples or something. They don't seem to have an intimidating presence, but people still notice them and give them a nod and acknowledge that they're there.
Okay, that's cool. I'll just sort of be watching the attitude, I guess, of them, taking that into account.
Mm-hmm. People, dart across the street as well. It's not like it's a controlled traffic area or anything. It's pretty go as you please, and the cart kind of slows down every now and then and pushes through a little bit of a crowd and stuff like that.
Yeah, lots of jaywalking.
But on your way to House Jorosco, you'll pass a couple of notable locations. The first is the get my little thing up. The Harbour District. So as you move through here, that is very much market stalls, little shops, little boutiques, and stuff like that. There is quite a lot of hustle and bustle around here. People seem to barter quite a lot as they shout out their price, and the person behind the thing argues back and then hands it over, and they hand over some money and something else, and it's a lot of commotion that goes on. But as you leave that noise and the din of the harbour, you circle around the Sungleam Palace. This is quite walled off. The walls are quite high and quite smooth, and there are quite a few guards patrolling the walls. If anyone would like to give me a history check on that one.
Love to.
Any number of them, go for it.
15.
9.
27.
Holy moly!
Was that 27?
I got a nat 20 and I have +7 to my history.
All right.
In our old game, we had a shared document, and I tried to keep track of who had the highest
Rolls?
highest damage roll, highest to hit roll, highest ability check. I think we got higher than that. We were much higher level than this, but 27.
Yeah, that's nuts. So Puck, you probably are looking at a couple of the symbols and the architecture and stuff, and this is definitely of a noble, of an upper class citizen. Hera, who I think is frozen. Oh no, here he is.
Yeah, right.
Hera, yeah, all good. You realize you recognize this as the almost, if you want to call it, a sub palace of the King of Brayland. It is one of the locations that if he were to visit here, this is where the king would stay. And if he were here, there would be fanfare, there would be guards, there would be quite a lot to do with it. Let me just try and bring it up. See if I've missed anything. Sungleam Palace. Yes, overlooks the lake. It's said to be one of the best gardens in Brayland, inside the palace. It's often used as a summer residence by King Boranel, Boranel, and his family. And also with a natural 20, I will also give you some claim that the palace hides a glut of secret passages and chambers, allegedly used to spy on the city, hold prisoners, or even rumoured to perform fiendish rituals. With your cheeky natural 20 in there. Give you my sub note.
Related to this place before, perhaps. I'll probably keep that quiet to myself while we're in the coach with old Shapiro.
Yep. You see, he's not even looking out the windows. He's actually just reading a book. He's seen this 1,000 times.
Yeah.
But what's quite interesting is this is the first time you've seen the city in the daytime, kind of thing.
Yeah. I have probably a few thoughts go through my head, like the wonderful garden and the summer palace for the king, and sort of look to Shapiro and then look back and sort of think about the extra things that I've heard or read or stories, and then sort of probably do like another slow double take back to Shapiro.
He doesn't look up.
No, but the objective of their little sect, thought crosses my mind how much they know about that palace, but I keep quiet. I say nothing.
All right, the carriage rattles on. As you finish circling the Sungleam Palace, you kind of enter a bit of a smog. You see the air gets a little bit thicker, and like music to your ears, Molokov, you hear the hammer on the anvil. You hear the chains of the motors. You hear the sweat and hard work of the working folk as we enter the industrial quarter.
Yeah, definitely keeping an eye out for the different places, potentially somewhere that might let me work later, or...
Absolutely. The industrial district, I should say. So, there are 3... actually, give me a perception check.
Natural 1.
Natural 1. As you go through, you're kind of looking and you see there's people covered in soot. They walk out of a thing and they're on their smoke break, or they're on their lunch break, or a smoke, I guess, if it's late morning. Very dirty ground. The cobblestones get a bit rugged. You can feel the heat come off some of the places. But unfortunately, on a natural 1, you are a bit too engulfed to take in any of the names of the places as you move through.
Yeah, definitely just admiring everything and getting a little distracted by...
Yeah. But yeah, this area contains such for armories, blacksmiths, supplies, stone cutters and that kind of sort. You see Shapiro kind of get one of his handkerchiefs out of his pocket and cover his mouth. And yeah, being on the outside puck, you probably get a full brunt of the smog and kind of stings your eyes a little bit, but fortunately it doesn't last too long. After exiting from this area, the coach passes by a familiar building, a long elongated train station, or lightning rail station, of which the lightning rail passes through the center of town. You can tell in the daylight that its architecture is quite almost like museum-like, with big pillars and House Lysander insignia all over the place. Very well kept, very clean floors. It's almost reflective, shiny. You can tell it gets polished quite often. And there are people moving in and about the station, boarding tickets. You can tell that there are quite a few carriages outside. This is kind of maybe where you might hire a carriage to go on day trips or further afield if the lightning rail was too expensive. And you do also see signposts that point around the city, and also one of the major ones points to the harbour, as you can imagine that you might be able to buy airship tickets here and go from the harbour. And finally, as you pass through just a couple more streets, you come across House Jarosco. House Jarosco being seen by ghosts before, I believe, at night. This is the first time you lot have seen it. It is quite a tall building, raising maybe 16 to 18 floors high. Quite hospital-like in its architecture, as it has quite a large base, and then it kind of almost goes up in semi-tiers, and the last kind of 5 or 6 floors are in the same kind of peak tier. There is a iron gate or iron fence around the premises, and there's some quite nice gardens around it, but they're maintained to a standard. They're not anything fancy. And as you approach, you see 2 guards that are not dressed in gold, but they are dressed in kind of greenish colors, like a muted green, and they've got the griffin on their tabards and on their chest. They both hold spears as the coach approaches, and they go, no, walk up. What is your business here? You see Shapiro raise his head from his book, look out the window, go, no, lads, we're all right. They're dropping us off, and then they're going to be on their merry way. Oh, right, Shapiro. Didn't see you in there. They turn around and start opening the gate. You can see it kind of creak open, and the carriage comes in and stops maybe 10 or so feet within the gate as you start getting out.
Well, it's quite the nice establishment you have here. Do we owe anything for the ride here, or?
Oh no, I've already covered that. Don't worry. We won't expect you to pay your way when we're asking you to do all the things for us.
Sniffing the air and things, Reese, does it seem like this is a hospital with lots of chemicals and stuff around? Does it function as that, or is this more like the office building?
Give me a perception or investigation.
I'll go investigation. 24, not a 27.
It seems like the initial, first floor might be used to do some, not emergency room, just kind of general practice kind of stuff. But you do get a bit of a whiff of some chemicals and stuff, and it's just faint on the air that maybe some things are brewed here. Maybe they're taken out to the hospitals and stuff. But from the look of things, it does look very administrative.
Cool. Thank you.
While we're sort of jumping out and pulling up as well, I want to just sort of have a quick, I suppose it depends on the role, but just sort of want to scan any taller up sections of the building / windows and just sort of do like a quick peek to as many windows as I can and see if anyone is looking out, seeing that we have arrived.
Sure. Give me a perception check.
That's only going to be a 13.
13. Yeah, you probably don't see any people. But you notice that the higher upper floors either have kind of grates over the windows or they are tinted quite dark. Yeah.
Can I just say I'm loving the different poses we're getting him
Yeah.
stuck in?
It's extremely focused.
Seemed like a villain pose here.
Yeah, yeah.
Got the claw.
It's okay, Boba. Right,
Yeah,
well.
you can see.
Did you catch that, Dale?
Yep. No, I caught absolutely none of it.
Okay. Few windows have grates on them. The higher up ones are dark tint. No one is looking out.
Yep. No, that's cool. That's cool. You like went to start explaining, and like literally the first word you were like,
Oh.
oh, no. I was like, oh fuck. I know he's telling me exactly what I'm seeing, but I have no idea what to say.
Nothing of extreme note, unfortunately.
Yep, no, that's cool. I just sort of, as we're getting out, have a quick peek to see if anyone's seen us, but
Yep.
obviously take that in.
All right. Well, if maybe if we step inside, we can just kind of let our breath out a little bit. Shapiro says as he starts heading into the building. Feel free to follow.
Yep, follow along.
Nice. As you walk in, the main entrance on the ground floor is quite very much what you would expect. There is some posters up detailing House Jarosco and the work that they've done. There are a couple of people waiting around. Some have bandages on their arm. Some are just waiting, obviously, for an appointment or something. And at the back of the kind of room, you see two sets of elevators, or what you would know as elevators. They've got the cage door on them, and then with the Dragon Shard power, they can be either pulled up or pulled down. There is also a reception desk, and behind it you see an older orc female, hair braided in kind of a like a bun. It's kind of greyish with hints of black through it, and she has very thin, almost like millimeters of spectacles. Whether they do any good or not, hard to tell. But they've got chains, like little tiny chains that go back up around her neck, and she looks up with one of her eyebrows raised. Shapiro, I was wondering when you would get back. So, you want one of the meeting rooms, do you? Oh, yes, well, thank you, Dolores. That would be absolutely wonderful. And who are these? They will need to sign in, you know that. She slides a sheet of paper across the desk. Oh, yes, sorry, I always forget with new people. These are some of our new recruits. They do have access around here, so please don't give them too much of a hassle when they come in without me. But yes, sorry, you will need to fill in your name and it says occupation, but maybe if you just put recruit or adventurer, I'd be happy with that. Would that be okay, Dolores? And she just kind of looks at Shapiro and doesn't say anything.
I'll start filling out the form or whatever it is, or like signing in or whatever it is. Is this a list of other people's names?
This one is blank. They've handed you a blank one.
So it's like it's a form. Or
It's a list, but she has handed you a complete blank page. So you imagine that there are other lists with other people's names on it. Yeah.
All right. Is she giving us like a quill and stuff?
Yes, there'll be one on the side of the desk there.
All right. I am going to spill ink all over this piece of paper and make it look accidental.
Yep. Give me a sleight of hand check.
Oh fuck! Watch out! Oh no!
That's very good. Sleight of hand. That's a 21.
Nice. You spill the ink over this quill, and she just gazes at you, stares at you, and goes, "Shapiro, the rebel you bring in sometimes." She lets out an exhale and wheels her chair back.
Sorry about that.
She turns around and you see one of the cabinets behind her. You see her put her hand up against it, and it kind of gives a glow. And then she opens the cabinet, pulls out a file, and you can see there's a few sheets in there. Closes the cabinet, brings it over. Now, try not to spill this one, as she kind of looks over at the ink and waves her hand, and you see it kind of clean itself up.
Yeah. I was going to ask if Hera could do that. Yeah, awesome. Cool. Does this stuff have any other names on it?
Again, it is another blank one.
Bitch.
Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat.
Yeah, just going to throw the ink in her face. Sure, I'll fill it out. Yeah, I'll give as little detail about myself as possible.
Sure.
According to the form.
Yeah. And the other two?
Yeah, I'm just gonna sign it. Hera and occupation. I'm gonna put student.
Yep. Classic.
I'll do the same.
What, Hera and student?
Yeah. I've been copying Hera's homework for so long. That I just...
Nice. She flicks it around and looks at it and looks up at you again and... Well, imagine you know most of the house rules of don't be a fool of yourself. Don't spill ink. Clean up after yourself. We won't have a
like
problem.
no withering under the gaze.
Yeah.
Just like it doesn't care. Basically, like he listens to it. He's not being rude.
Yeah.
He's just sort of like it happens.
Yeah.
It's fine. I've already said sorry. If you're gonna be like this, that kind of thing.
Yeah. You can tell that she is being, or at least attempting to be, quite stern. And there is probably a moment where the gaze of you two is met, and everyone else is kind of like, "Do we say anything?" And then she finally just,
Worry, I will. It's my highest priority. We waste no more paper and no more ink.
No one likes to suck up. And she turns back to her paperwork, and she goes, "Yes, well, yes, thank you, Dolores. And thank you for these lot as well. We appreciate your work, and we'll just be heading up to the admin offices, I think." And she doesn't even look up from a piece of paper, and he goes, "Oh, yes, please follow me," and moves along to one of the elevators. As you get in, it's go on.
I was gonna, once we're out of earshot, I'll say she seems pleasant.
Yes, she is pleasant, and she is very resourceful. So make sure to maybe be a bit more careful with your hands next time.
I'll just give him a nod.
I don't know why she thought I was sucking up. I genuinely don't want to waste any more ink.
Yes, she is very resourceful, but also isn't here to be anyone's friends. She sees everything that goes in and out of this building, so make sure not to sneak anything by her, because she will catch you. And he gets in the elevator. As he closes the grate, you see that there are 18 floors total. But the 18th and 17th one have a icon next to them. Seems like something goes in there, like a socket. And they are up the top, the 17 and 18. Let's go down. So floors 16 to 9 has a little sign next to it. It says offices, administration, and charitable works. The what are we at? The 8th floor says meeting room, radio room, and mission planning. The 7th floor, artifact storage and filing room. Floors 3 to 6, admin offices. Second floor, security office and cafeteria. And first floor, which is the one that you're on, says main entrance and reception desk. There is also a basement floor as well, which has no logo next to it, or no description next to it. You see that Shapiro will hit floor, what was it, 8, and the machine kind of cranks, and you hear the chains start going as you move up. It takes a little while, but after a minute or two, you open the chain doors or the iron doors and walk out into a floor that has a couple of offshoots to it. And he goes, if you follow me this way, walks down, and one of the meeting rooms labeled, he opens the door, and you see like almost a boardroom table inside with a little bar off to the side. Please make yourself comfortable, and please pour yourself a drink if you want anything. Allow whoever wants to go up to it.
What's on offer? Is it
just a couple of normal house beverages, maybe a couple of spirits.
Wine.
Yeah. Right. So, doesn't it feel good to be home? This House Jarosco is obviously yours to inhabit as well. May I ask, what was your accommodation situation when you were last here?
We think we stayed at the inn, didn't we?
Oh, the Golden Dragon.
I
Yes.
believe it was the Golden Dragon.
Yes, quite a reputable place.
That's very nice.
Yes, if you're happy to stay there, we are more than willing to front the bill for that. Otherwise, I'm sure we can arrange some sort of accommodation. We can change out one of the offices or rooms in here. It might not be as comfortable, but either way, it won't cost you a penny any longer than it needs to.
Puck is grinning at the prospect of because he can stay at the Golden Dragon Inn for free.
Yep.
But he's grinning at the prospect of making the other house pay his house. So he, I think the Golden Dragon was quite nice. I think we'd like to return there. Does that sound good to everyone?
We wouldn't want to, impose ourselves here as well.
Oh,
Cleaning out the whole office to fit 5 of us in might be a cramped sleep.
I'm sure we could find a reputable one, like one of the boardrooms or something. But at any time, maybe it might be wise to not be venturing out in the streets at night. But if you're comfortable at the Golden Dragon, then I will send off a messenger and make sure you have rooms supplied. Is there any preference of how many? You just want more money.
Just let me. Yeah, give us all
10.
the room.
I think 10.
Yeah. I need an office as well.
We've got so much stuff. Like we're just gonna.
We need a room for them to stay, just in case.
Maybe 3 rooms is probably all right, isn't it? There's like
Yeah.
2 a room and then 1 extra.
3. Yes, I will get that sorted straight away. All right. Well, there's not much more I have to tell you at the moment until I catch up with all my paperwork, but maybe if you come back within the next day or two, then we can see what the next plans are.
Should we write down our two friends' names on Delilah's list? Or
Dolores.
What was her name? Dolores.
Please don't get that wrong. You see a bit of
Sorry.
hesitation come over his face straight away.
Bit of stress on him.
Can I get a read? Like, is he actually scared of this woman?
Give me an insight check.
Because at first I thought maybe he liked her or something, and it was just a bit awkward. Insight, that's modified 20.
Modified 20. No, he's not scared of her. It's just like it would make his life a whole lot harder if he was the one that brought in some rubble and they were messing things up. And like, yeah, if he wants to get this message sent to the Golden Dragon, he's probably going to have to go and ask her to send the message to someone. And so, yeah, he knows that she holds a lot of power from being at that front desk.
And just remind me, he said he warned us if we took anything, she'd know. Is that what he said?
He said she sees everything that comes in and out of the building.
Right.
So, you know, don't try and sneak anything past her.
Okay. Cool.
He probably meant in. He probably wasn't thinking.
I'm not planning on stealing anything necessarily. I was just trying to work out, like...
We never plan to.
No. I mean, look, the answer here is clearly just don't take things. If you're going to take something, just don't take it out through the front door.
That could be a solution as well. A game of many possibilities.
DM, can I get a Zelda paraglider, please? And
Yeah.
Jump from the top floor.
Yes. As you will, you may move as you please throughout the building. Please refrain from going to the top floors, as that is Joe Sue's quarters. His penthouse is up on there. And for all intents and purposes, anything on the upper floors usually is to the public if they come in. Just what it says on the outside. We do have a few rooms that we are able to use, but I will give you a full tour maybe tomorrow or when you come back. One thing to note as well, though, is if you head to the basement and follow the stairs down, as long as your names are on the list, you will be able to go and visit a man who I'm about to remember his name. Cornelius Drumfar. He is our resident medicine and potion connoisseur. And you'll find him down in the laboratory.
Ooh. Okay, like a tantalizing sting of my spine when he says laboratory.
Yes, quite exciting. But again, please make sure that it is you and only you that goes down there. There are many rooms that we like to keep prying eyes out of.
Understandable.
Is anyone else moving? Why did you bring us up here?
I was going to ask something, but I will wait if you're...
Yeah, why did you bring us up here if we're just going to go back to the Golden Dragon?
Just to show you the place and just to speak freely if you had any questions or qualms about the situation abroad. You never know who's listening, and we take security quite seriously here.
But, what do you plan on doing with the ring?
Well, we will take a look at it, but we will also keep it quite secure, preferably underground. When Joe Sue gets back from his excursion, then we'll run it by him as well. Seems to be quite knowledgeable in these things. surprisingly. You'll have to check out his collection of books sometime. Yes, by invite only. He might invite you up to his room. He's got quite a few interesting things on display. I've only been once or twice, though.
How does he get along with the king very well?
He has had a few interactions. I believe so. He's quite a charming man. It helps with funding sometimes to be on the right side of royalty.
And you said he was he founded this branch.
Yes, quite impressively so. He funded a lot of it himself. Used to work quite a lot in potions and alchemy, and more of a man behind the name of things. He didn't really venture out himself much, but made sure people were in the right places at the right time, and yes, founding House Tarosco, and then I suppose you also know he founded this sub branch of us to take care of things.
So he was already a member of Tarosco before then?
Yes, I believe he was.
Right. What's his? Why did he set up here? What is? I suppose I'm just a little confused. Your branch, like, was there something you were trying to stop happening in the area, or just a presence?
More so just a presence, I believe. Being quite close to the morning, there are a lot of people in need, and his work is very, very good. People recognize the house name Jarosco a lot more. Even post-war now, and I believe also a central location to investigate these weird and, dare I say, wonderful things that happen behind closed doors and in the shadows.
Is that what he is investigating across the lake?
Oh, across the lake? No, that's his retreat. His holiday house, you might say, over in Saya. He has a estate that he goes to sometimes, more to get away maybe from the books and the office life, but I personally have never been myself.
I see. Also, I guess if we're on our own sort of terms now that we're allowed to come in and out of here, would you mind if I perhaps had a look at those spells that we found? I just want to jot down some notes, and maybe see if I can muster up the arcane to do it myself, you know?
Of course. I'll tell you what. Once you get back, we would have had a chance to record them. And then she leaves the conversation.
Hera's like, oh, that's even starting a no.
Yeah. But basically, the answer is, when you come back in the next day or two, we would have had a chance to have looked over them, and then they're all yours.
And I hate to be so cruel, but my friends would not be happy if I didn't ask. Is there some form of a reward for what we have done in the last week or so?
Yes, of course. Let me get my affairs in order, and I will happily give you payment when I've got everything together. Another reason why you might be wise to keep on Dolores' good side is she has access to all the coin.
Understood.
Well, if there's anything else, I'll start getting everything into affairs right, and I'll leave you to it. Please, finish your drink, and if you just call the elevator and head down to the ground floor, you'll be able to come and go as you please. I'll pass on to the guards at the gates that you have access.
Yes, but you and I need to have a talk.
Ah, yes, of course. Right. All right. Why don't we speak out on the corridor?
Well, how about Hera? Do you want to go maybe check out this artifact floor, and we'll wait for Puck to be done?
I feel like sometimes it's like you are in my brain, Marco. I was just about to say that thing.
Wonderful.
Shall we go have a look? And
Yes.
just a look.
Yes, please don't or refrain from touching anything. They can be in quite a state.
Attuned to everything.
Yeah.
Oh, this is nice. Oh,
Nah, so we'll
Is
go.
that curiosity killed the cat?
Yeah.
We'll go have
Curious
a little
cat killed everything.
explore of the 7th floor.
Nice. So as you leave, leaves Puck and Shapiro in the room, and you see him kind of go over to the window and kind of just look out and come back to you. So I don't have all great news, but it will at least put your mind at ease. Laurie sought out our help,
Mm-hmm.
and upon proving his worth, much as you have, he was introduced to the second tier of our organization. In saying that, Laurie is quite good at receiving a mission and then reappearing when he has completed that mission.
Little grin. That sounds about right.
Unfortunately, he is not returned on time for the latest one.
Can you tell me what that was or where it was?
We sent him. Yes, I can tell you the location. Not so much the specifics of the mission at the moment. We sent him up to the region of Aundair, which is north of here.
Can you spell that for me?
Aundair.
Thank you.
We have suspicions that some foul Emerald Claw activity is happening there. It was originally a scout mission, but yes, we haven't heard from him in quite some time. Rest assured, though, he has proven his worth with us and seems to be quite keen to continue to help out.
I think that he was looking for a place to fit in and a place to ideally be kept safe by, which doesn't sound like it's what's happening, but
Very much an advocate of going on his own.
so he was scouting. How late is he?
About a week now.
And that's uncommon for him?
He's usually pretty much on time. You kind of reflect on the letters that you've received, and pretty much always routine. As sneaky as he can be, it's always routine.
Yep.
But rest assured, if I do hear anything, I will let you know. It's more, I don't want to reach out to him in case he's actually uncovering something, and I wouldn't want to jeopardize that by letting him know that you're here. You must understand, we like our research to be done properly and not distracted.
Of course, but a week later, you sending anyone else out there? Any reinforcements? Anyone else to go and scout or something?
It is on the table, and if Joe Su gives the go-ahead, then we will. But until then, we'll hold out for a little while longer.
If I think back to when I met Josu, did he look at me weird?
Not particularly, no.
Okay. Cool.
More so, Josu will give the authority to send another party after him.
Yeah. Just more of like looking for a spark of recognition kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I just have, I think, at the moment, one final question, which is, how deep within Jurassico was my brother?
He knows as much as you do.
Okay.
He kind of looks around, looks at the door that, like, maybe Hera left a little bit open, and he moves around to it and closes it, and he goes, there is a space for advancement within Jurassico again, but it is reserved for those that have truly proven themselves. I do hope you can reach my level one day, but it'll take a bit of trusting and time.
No, fair enough. Can't just let anyone into your secrets.
No. He gives a smile.
I think that's all for now. Has he ever given me any indication he understands that I'm part of a different house? Like, I don't make it super obvious.
Sure. Probably is recognized because you have some things on you that will indicate it.
I have like a signet ring which I usually have turned around.
Yep.
I have like
Only
some
give
stuff
him-
that has the right colors, but like I'm not advertising. Yes, I'm a House Galander person.
Roll me an insight check.
$16.
He rolled a 16 as well. It's hard to tell. It's not that you've made it obvious, so there's ways he could have found out, but he has not also brought it up.
Yep, cool. Like, I'm not necessarily hiding it from them.
Yep.
But I'm definitely not going to bring it up. Cool. All right. Well, I better go and make sure the Tabaxi are all right.
Yes, please make sure they don't touch anything. You see him just a little bit
yeah,
nervous.
I'll quickly drink the rest of my wine and go out to the lift.
Yep. Meanwhile, the two of you get into the elevator and drop down one floor. And as you exit, you see a room that says storage on it. And outside is a man with a spear with the Griffin logo on it, just leaning up against the door.
Hey, old friend.
Ah, hello. And
Good morning.
can I help you?
Yes, there we go.
Sorry, we're just visitors with Shapiro. Waiting for him at the moment. We're just been told to come have a look at some of the things down here.
Oh, interesting. And you are?
Molokov.
I
This is
am
Hera.
here. This is Molotov.
Looks at both of you like I imagine this is happening in real time as well. Like you're just talking to each other. Like Molotov, hit a Molotov.
This is how we experience real life lag.
Yeah. And he goes, oh, okay. And with Shapiro, you say, give me a second. And you see he pulls out a necklace with a little orange bead on it. And as he touches it, you see him whisper and then give a nod. Well, welcome to House Dorotsko. Please don't touch anything in here. It's as you can understand, not for all to see. He turns around and opens the door behind you.
Thank you. We will try to be careful. Let's go.
Right, after you.
All right. You walk into the room and you see a room maybe... It's not huge. It's about 20 foot by 10 foot. And it has shelves around the whole room. And the shelves are maybe 3 or 4 high. And spread quite spaciously around are a couple of items in glass cases. As you look through them, you see that none of them are actually labeled. They instead have numbers next to them. And you're looking around, there is quite a bit to take in, so want an investigation check from both of you.
Eleven.
17?
17 and 11. As you look around, you see that there are a couple of blades that sit in like a long case. There are no books or scrolls here. There is what looks like an arm that turns into a blade. Like it's like a shoulder, a bicep, and then a blade. There is a pair of mechanical legs there. Seems what looks like a broom in a case at the back. And then a couple of smaller gems that are kind of lined up in a row.
Ah, the Infinity Stones.
Yep, that's it.
To be fair, they'd be kind of like not bad at all, but like there's way more powerful artifacts in D&D than that.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a couple of interesting things in the room. The door has been closed behind you, and there is no door on the other side.
And none of them are labeled, they've just got numbers next to them.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be like a book or a page or a like
No, there
some
doesn't.
itinerary at the front of the room.
No.
Do I
Or probably
I was just gonna ask, like, given my previous years of research and
Yep.
background, do I recognize any like maker's marks on any of the swords or armors or anything like that?
You have a look around, you kind of get in and around each of the items. It doesn't seem like any of them have maker's marks on them,
Interesting.
which is quite interesting. It means that, like, you know, they weren't built by a house or were built in secrecy. And what were you going to do here?
I would like to sort of make my way around the room, looking at like a few different things, but I'm gonna stop at that broomstick and just sort of ponder on it for a second, and I might even pull out a little scratch of paper and write down the number that is on the casing.
Yep, it is 62.
62. I'll write that down.
Planning on doing some cleaning.
62 or 64? 62. Well, I don't think they would lock up a broom if it was just doing broom things, you know?
Yeah, you're probably right.
It's a little aerodynamic, but maybe I'm just thinking out of the strange books that I've read before.
Now. As you approach the door, Puck, the same guard, looks at you. Hello, can I help you?
My friends are in there.
Oh, yes, and you would be?
I'm Paxton.
My question is Paxton what you wrote on the piece of
Yeah.
paper? Yep. See him pull out the necklace, talk
But
into
just
it.
the first name.
Yep. Put it back. Opens the door, and you see Hera Molikov inside.
Thank you, and I'll walk through.
Closes the door behind you.
So there's no guard in here, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, cool. How much can I know? Yeah, cool. I'll walk over to wherever they are. Like just like observing as I go
that's
through.
less of my
I'd say we're probably pretty spread out, like kind of like two kids at a museum.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like have just.
I'll go to whoever's closest.
Right.
Find anything interesting?
These are
Well, there's a few items here, but can't really. There's no real description on what they are or what they do. Didn't quite get as much information as I hoped we would.
Did you see anywhere that is waiting for a ring to get put in?
Doesn't look like it. And yeah, there's no spaces that it's like, 59. There's no case there kind of thing. Like each case is labeled, but there's no missing displays. Yeah.
Okay.
How did your little talk go? Finding out some more information about what we're doing, or
A little bit, not a whole lot. Just a possible next location for where we might go, but it all depends on what the boss says, I think.
the boss being the big man we saw at the harbor? Seems to
Healing,
be running
yes.
the show here.
Very much so. He founded it. This place, this branch.
Right, yes, of course. That's an interesting man. We'll have to get to know him a little better, I think.
I think so. I mean, what are you guys hoping to do next? We've come back with the Dale froze just drinking. It's like that's a really long sip. We come back with what they asked us to do. We don't have a new mission currently, but what are you
Well,
hoping to do?
Well, I suppose I should probably check the rail link. I believe that is where the post office will be, and don't really know what our next move is. I think there's still a little bit more that we can do before needing to go back to the university, but maybe jumping on board with these little outskirts and missions will also help us with what we're trying to do, so I'm certainly happy enough to keep following along. But that name though, Ki Ling, you said. Why does that ring a bell? Do you recognize that Moloch? That's
is on the tip of my tongue.
what was his
but
first name?
Josu.
Ki Ling. Josu Ki Ling.
Do I recognize it from anything particular, or is it just it's just a name that I know of?
Give me intelligence checks.
Is it something Professor mentioned before?
What was that, sorry?
I was just saying to myself, is it something my professor has mentioned before?
I got another
Intelligence
17.
check.
17.
Just
And what did you get here?
16.
16. The name sounds familiar as a name you've heard in Vathrond. The name Kelly Keeling rings a bell.
Oh, of course.
And we find out we're like, oh, this is all suspicious. Like Keeling is like Smith.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Go back to the Golden Dragon. The barkeep's last name's Keelan.
Yeah.
No relation.
Well, she was leaving town, I thought. Interesting. Interesting.
Oh, there is quite a lot going on, I think. We're only just scratching the surface. It'd be nice to perhaps meet up with our friends and let them in on a little bit more of the knowledge that we have, I guess, but perhaps we will see them later on. I can try and contact them at some point and let them know we are going back to the Golden Dragon. They know that's where we're based, I guess.
Indeed.
They'll know how to get there.
Also, if we're talking short-term goals, once we get some form of a payment from these people, I would like to go to the industrial district, and I have a few ideas I would like to implement.
Maybe we can see if that can be sorted out. I'm keen to get paid. I've got that grappling hook I wanted you and Ghost to have a look at. If we have time.
Well, we have most of today, and I suppose we get our reward tomorrow. Keeling is not expected to be back till tomorrow, so I presume we won't see him till the evening afternoon. Then probably have the next day to prepare ourselves on whatever they have planned for us, provided Ghost and Vargir are on board with completing these tasks as well. But
All right. So what's the plan?
So were we not getting paid today? I might have missed that part.
Not
sorry.
today.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, we might as well just go have a look at the shops and things, like to see what's there, and then go
Sure.
back and have a sleep, and then tomorrow or next session or whatever it is, we can decide what we're doing.
Sounds
I
good.
would quite like to sit down, have a proper read of this book as well at some point. I really looked at the first page and already losing my mind.
Give me a persuasion check on that. See if anyone picks up on that.
Oh, that's good. Oh, persuasion's +0, but that's a 17.
Nice.
Nice. Feel free to read do a insight if you wish, but otherwise, kind of just get that little hesitancy from Kara.
It beats my my insight. So
Kara gives off a bit of a laugh, but something doesn't seem quite.
She's just weird, man.
Yeah. All right, so you're leaving the artifact room.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
I don't think we want to rob these people today.
Oh, thank God.
Today.
As you leave, the guard kind of gives you a nod and, well, have a nice day. Closes the door behind you. You get back in the elevator, head back to the ground floor, if that's what's happening, and exit the building. You see Dolores look up and give you a look, and then look back down to her pieces of paper. But as you exit out, my question is, where would you like to head first?
Industrial district? Is there anywhere anyone else wants to go? Well, Hera, you wanted to go to the lightning rail?
Yes, just away there, but I can always meet you guys at the industrial zone. I just need to pick up some mail or check if there's any mail for me.
Is it on the way? Just trying to.
Kind of.
It's more or less on the way.
The funny thing of like, oh, there's a key. It's like, yeah, it's great, but I just like if the names were on it, it would be easy. I gotta go back and forth to read it.
Down to the corner.
Yeah.
What is what?
Ooh.
But no,
The last time I make a map.
No, it's great.
Now you need those
think
things
it's
where
just
you
'cause it's
hover
bigger.
over the number and it pops up.
Oh,
That would be great.
I just mean just because it's a bigger map than Vatheron, so
Mm,
it's
mm,
harder to
mm.
like look at both at the same time.
Yeah, fair enough.
Maybe my eyesight's just gone.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, if
it
it's
is
on the
sent the other
way,
way.
Yeah, then we'll come with you, Hera. Can see if there's any mail for me as well.
Oh, okay. Well, shall we?
Michelle.
I don't think we have a carriage, so it'll be on the feet.
Yeah.
It will be.
As we walk, I will, or rather, I'll probably leave Swiftscale, but I'll get out a pen and paper, and I will write a very, very quick note that I'm going to send back to my house. That'll
Okay.
basically just say, I am in Star Alaska. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just letting them know where I am.
Sure.
In Star Alaska, with House Jarosco, investigating the Emerald Claw. That's pretty much what it'll be.
Awesome. As you get to the station, takes about half an hour or so to walk down there. I don't suppose you guys are in any rush or anything. Get there, and there's a bit of hustle and bustle. A lightning rail has just left, which also means it's dropped off a couple of people. And you do see the signposts up on the side for the costs of going to different locations. But then there's also the clerk that is by the mail room, which you have also interacted with, Hera. I'll just find the travel things. But you can go up to the mail clerk and interact with that.
Yes. Hello, excuse me. Hello.
The little goblin behind it looks up and, oh, yes, hello, how may I help you?
Well, some time ago, I sent a letter to the university in Shan. I was just wondering if you might have received an email from them addressed to Hera,
Yeah.
presumably from Professor Tavash.
1 second. Turns around and looks through. Comes back. Doesn't seem to be anything for you, Hera. Keep an eye out, though. I can. Would you like me to keep it safe when it arrives, or are you fine with it staying in one of the lockers, one of the shelves?
Oh, just on the shelf should be fine. No need to try and contact me. We're here for some days. I will pop back and perhaps in the next day or two and check again.
Sounds good. Anything else I can help you with?
No, I think it's just the one letter I was looking for. Did you want to send something back?
Yes, I have the letter here. Yeah, I have my letter. I've put my signet mark on it.
Cool.
That's all folded up.
Yep. Oh, well, someone's a bit prepared. No charge for that. This is going across the ways. 10 copper.
I'll flick him a silver.
Sure. So those that I've just put in the chat are the prices you see advertised up on the walls of the station. Knowing that first class is how you travel to Star Alaska. Standard class is probably just a seat with a seat in front of you kind of thing. And steerage means in the back, almost where the animals were kept. You are able to purchase that ticket if you so choose. There is no accommodations or anything. It's just you get put in the carriage with whatever else is in there. And then the coach is a horse and carriage. And that is per person, those costs are.
Yeah. Just while these guys are at the post office and while we're here, especially at the railway station, but definitely keeping a lookout the whole way.
Yep.
I know Puck kind of was asking a similar question, but I'm on the lookout for any representation of other houses
Okay.
apart from Jorosco, and yeah, potentially the coloring of a house, that house in particular.
Yep.
Especially here at the train station, having a look out.
Sure. Give me a investigation or perception.
Actually, yeah, I was gonna say I don't know. I mean, Puck will probably notice, maybe not, but heading towards, like leaving the house. Obviously, we took the carriage all the way there, but walking and getting closer to the train station, like the hustle and bustle, probably would definitely have the hood up and the like face mask up to the nose while we're walking, and then at the counter probably would have pulled it down to walk and then put it back up just to blend into the crowd a bit more.
Sure.
I think you probably notice it, but wouldn't necessarily question it.
It would. I know why I'm doing it, but it'd be very much just like a, oh, we're in the crowd sort of thing, blending in. Like there's no probably panic on my face to do it, but you definitely would have noticed that now that we're back in the city, I'm a little bit more covered up.
For sure. What was that roll?
14.
14. You don't see much in the way of House Kenneth's sigils, except for maybe on some of the trains' front engines, and maybe on a couple of the like carriages that are kind of just out of the way. As House Kenneth were the ones that invented the lightning rail, but House Orion are the ones that operate and manage it. So you see more prevalent is the symbol of the unicorn and the purple and the gold colors of the station.
And nothing on the people themselves that indicates.
Not with that kind of investigation. Again, like yourself, people with houses maybe have a brooch or a mark or something like that. They don't always display it as obvious as some others.
Cool.
All right, so as you finish up at the lightning rail, the next destination is the industrial zone. Is that correct?
Yep.
All right.
I believe so.
All right. As you head into the smog again, you feel the heat coming off from some of these places. You feel the sweat and stench in the air of hard work. But you do come across a couple of little stalls and stuff like that, little places that are making little chain links and so on and so forth. But the three main stores you see, or places of interest, are the Hammered Smith Armory, a shop called Beyond Supply, and another one called In the Rough.
Sorry, what was that second one again?
Beyond Supply. And as you kind of move around, people were a bit more pushy in these areas. Like they'll just not push past you, but they won't kind of step out of the way. And see, it's a very hard-working area. But the three of you kind of notice, like they're not next to each other, but as you kind of moving around, you see these three notable stores.
Anywhere you wanted to go particularly?
No, I mostly wanted to scout it out. I can't really afford much at the moment.
Do you have anything to sell or to barter?
Not that is not in use. As players, I essentially want to buy up a bunch of scrap and start messing around with various things.
Yeah.
I suppose I'll try and figure out of those three which looks like most likely to be a place with a workshop
Sure.
or something.
Probably the Hammered Smith Armory
Yep.
would be your best bet, just from looking around the outside. Yeah, from gazing, through the windows and walking around the shops, you probably see that the Hammered Smith Armory is more of a blacksmith / armory. Beyond Supply has more of your adventuring supplies. And in the rough seems more like a jeweler / stone cutter kind of area.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Does anyone want any particular equipment?
I mean, I wouldn't mind going to the jeweler just for a hot second, but if you want to have a look anywhere else, that's okay with me.
No, let's do it.
Okay, I would like to go into the jeweler.
Sure.
And I suppose I'll just go into the jeweler and approach the clerk.
Yeah, sure. So you walk in, and even though the outside has been covered with, the kind of soot and stuff of this area, the inside is quite clean. And you even see when you step through, one of the doormats kind of just vibrates a bit, and you see the soot shake off your boots. As you step through, there are a couple of glass cabinets, almost like a Michael Hill jeweler kind of thing, around, and a elf is just putting something up on the shelf as she turns around, and elf on the shelf, yes. She is not on the shelf. As she turns around, and she has long, flowing blonde hair, pointed ears, and quite a narrow face. She turns around and she goes, "Welcome. Please come in from the dirt and the dust out there." And as you see around, there's almost just out of your peripheral vision, there's always just a glint of red or blue or yellow, and the gems just quite catch the right light, as she has quite a lot of lamps in the ceiling that kind of make it sparkle a bit.
Yeah.
With white flame, just to make it seem a bit more eloquent.
Yeah.
Please come in. My name is Mathine Charik. And how can I be of assistance to you today?
Oh, well, you see, my lovely friend, I had quite a pretty pair of earrings. It seems, silly me, on my travels, I have misplaced one. I was wondering you would have anything that perhaps might be similar to this earring here that I could wear on the other side, just to make it appear again.
Oh, how gorgeous. And you see her move away from the counter and come around, and you see that her feet are kind of just gliding across the floor, as she doesn't seem to walk, as opposed to just sway over. And she comes right up to the side of your face, Hera, and pulls out a little magnifying glass. She looks at the earring and looks around it. And I think I described it as an amber color, that your earring was. Oh, very nice.
Yeah, like red or amber.
Yes, we definitely can match that. Were you wanting us to match the magical properties of it as well? She gives you a grin.
Well, I have a little smirk. I was wondering if she would notice that. No, it.
She slips
it's
the
almost
magnifying glass
once-
back in her pocket.
Yeah, I'll sort of watch it go into her pocket, wondering what that little magical thing might be.
Yep.
No, it is kind of a bit strange just having one there, and you obviously have quite the eye for details, but I'm hoping to make it a little less obvious to those that can't tell what it might be, that it's purely there for decoration, you see.
Of course, of course. Uh,
I'm
And
essentially looking for them to match it with just plain jewel so that it looks like just a pair of earrings as opposed to one earring that I keep that
touching,
is a little bit more suspicious.
of course. And how accurate would you want the replication to be?
Well, I mean, I don't usually let people get too close to me, so as long as it is similar from afar, I'm not too phased. But I mean, if you take the time to put the detail in, it would be appreciated. I'll obviously pay the prices.
Of course. Well, for the size and the metallic clasping we would put it to, I can offer you 3 prices: 10 gold, 30 gold, or 50 gold. Obviously, 50 being near on exact replica. 10 gold, you'd be able to tell them apart from about where we're standing, as she's now kind of like a foot or two away from you.
Oh, that's quite the offer you have there. I like the options. Let's put it right in the middle. I'll pay happily 30 gold pieces for a good enough replica.
Of course, of course. And if you don't mind, I would hold on to the other one whilst we copy it.
Yes, I suppose. While we're in the city for a couple days, I might not need it. I'll want it to look as close as I can, so you probably need it to observe it.
Of course, she gives you a smirk and takes it and looks at it and we'll try our best. She takes down your details and gives you a little kind of ticket. Come back with this. If I'm not here, then one of our assistants will surely be happy to help you.
Oh, excellent. I appreciate your fine craftsmanship.
And for ease of DM forgetting a million things, you can pay the 30 gold now rather than on return.
Yeah, will do. Yeah. 30 gold pieces.
And you two wonderful patrons, is there anything I can interest you in? You look around, there are basically, jewels of different values. Here, we're basically jeweler / stonecutter store, so anything along those lines we can do.
Do you buy as well as sell?
Yes, of course, of course.
Go fishing in my pockets, trying to work out which one I put them in. But I got a couple of gemstones.
Sure.
I got 4 10 gold value gemstones and
Yep.
3 50 gold value gemstones.
Sure. She will do a roll. You kind of lay them out on the glass cabinet. She provides like a little blanket kind of thing to put them on as she assesses them. Very nice, very nice. You said 3 10s and 3 50s?
4 10, so all up would be 190. 4 10s, 3 50s.
Oh, she looks at them and, well, I would be happy to buy the lot for, let's say 150 gold.
A little smile of just like, well, that sounds like you're trying to rob me blind. It's clearly worth more than that.
Oh, not by too much. What would you suggest?
I'd suggest 200.
200. Interesting. Give me a persuasion check.
Ooh, hey, okay, persuasion. That's a 23.
Nice. She looks at you and gives a grin. Were you planning on purchasing anything yourself in here?
Well, that remains to be seen if I have enough money to do so.
Of course, of course. tell you what, 170 and we'll call it a deal.
I know it's worth more than that.
Hmm.
I know that you'll sell it for more than. I know you have to make a profit, but I'm not asking you to. Yeah, to overpay. Just asking for what it's worth. Call it 190, and we can shake hands right now.
A grin spreads across her face. You have yourself a deal. And she will pull out 190 and put it across, 190 gold, and take the gems off your hands.
I'll hand them over. Cool. Puck is flush.
Nice.
Is there anything in? I'll ask. Is there anything in here of a magical property? I know you can identify hair as magic, but
what does she have? Not necessarily straight magical, but they can help with components of certain spells and such.
is that something you need, Hera? I'm not gifted in the arcane arts, you see.
Oh, such a shame. She kind of throws in a little dig.
I don't believe I need anything of that sort of caliber just yet, at least. But I believe this is going to be a store that I might frequent.
Well, you're always
in
welcome
my
back.
life.
And valued customers are treated as such, I'll have you know.
Well, hopefully next time there's more of a need, but I'll definitely keep this place in mind. Thank you.
All right. So
actually,
yeah,
I'll pull out. So this is it's jewelry and stuff, right?
yeah.
I'm gonna pull out the platinum hand.
Oh boy. Her eyes light up like the sun. And you were going to leave without telling me about this?
I just sort of forgot I had just a trinket.
Oh, just a trinket. She calms herself, pulls out her magnifying glass, has a look around it, and you see her like frown just creep across her face as you can tell that she's not finding any magical property with this thing. Well, strange. It's where did you come across this?
In the course of our adventures, we found a kind of a shrine, I suppose you'd say.
Wow, yes, it's very interesting. It seems quite historic. I haven't seen anything like this come across my path before.
One of a kind.
Extremely one of a kind. Are you looking to sell?
I'm very interested in an offer.
Oh, an offer? Well, I don't know where to start. What would you be willing to part with it for?
So this is the thing is I don't actually know. It's a solid platinum hand.
Yep.
A platinum is worth 10 gold.
Yep.
And it's like,
it's a hand size.
It's a human hand size.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I don't know.
Probably worth 100 platinum.
I'm like, I was like, 500 gold. I'm like, it's worth more than 500 gold.
Think about 100. Think about 100 gold coins. Not that many coins.
No.
If you melted down,
yeah.
I reckon a solid platinum hand. I'm thinking upwards of 20,000 gold.
Ooh.
That's just player. But
yeah, the thing is, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. 20. I don't know, because 20,000 gold seems like a lot. You're right. 100 coins isn't that much, and it melts down 100. I feel like it's 100 is maybe this much of the hand, and it's 100, 200, 300, and then maybe 500 coins, 500 platinum coins. Oh my gosh! Yeah, okay. I don't know. I'll say. The thing is, I don't think this person's going to have this much money on hand. No one has this much money on hand. I got to go to a bank. Let's.
Yeah, tell her to get a loan.
Sorry.
Tell her to get a loan.
Oh yeah. Well,
2.3% interest.
Sorry.
Give it interest as well.
2.3% interest.
I was thinking something. I can't imagine you'd have this on you. It might be a process of coming back a later time, but something around the realm of 500 platinum.
Give me an insight check.
Yeah. 14.
14. You see her face twitch just a bit, but she's trying to give no reaction. She kind of goes, well, why don't you hold on to that quite tightly, and I'll see if I can pull together some funds to maybe acquire it off you one day. Today will not be that day. This is a very special item, though, and be careful who you wave it around in front of.
Yes, absolutely. I'll put it into a pocket. Well, I think that's probably all for us.
And anything for you? Turns to Molokov.
Sort of probably quickly puts down a stone that he was looking at.
Yeah.
No. Are there any dragon shards around? Jewelers?
Not on display.
Okay. No. I don't think I have need for such pretty things at the moment.
Well, if you ever want to adorn your cloak or anything, then please feel free to pay a visit. The earrings should be ready within a couple of hours, if you want to swing back around.
Oh. I thought it might be an overnight process or something. No, that's fantastic.
Well, if there's nothing else I can help you with, then please have a good day, and I'll see at least one of you soon. And you exit the shop back into and you kind of get a hit of the warmth that is being put out. You almost like the shop was a bit cooled as well, just to make it a bit fresh. But you're back out on the street now.
Right. Anything else you two want to get done for today?
I'm interested in Molokov. What do you think we might need to get this grappling hook going? But
we could look into it. Maybe we Wait, do you have like? So you've got the grappling hook and you've got the crossbow.
yeah, I think what I'd probably want to do is actually buy another crossbow and put it onto that, rather than
so it's
because because I think the idea is more that like because otherwise I'm like I've got to fix it every time and then and then shoot it off, and that's probably a bit dubious to do that in the middle of a turn or whatever. So I think the idea would be to get a different crossbow. And I've got money. But my assumption is I've got the grappling hook. I probably want to buy like some fine, very strong steel wire. Buy some kind of power source, like a dragon shard or something, and then some mechanism.
I have two of those as well, like little ones.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, whatever. That's kind of how I see it going. Is like there's some kind of winch mechanism and whatever's needed for that. And then buying the crossbow and then buying some steel wire, I guess.
Yeah.
Just because I think that's cooler than rope, and it makes sense to be small and compact.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we might have to go to one or two different places for the pieces of this. And
that's fine.
Despite my invention here, I think Ghost is better at the mechanical side.
Right. Well, at least you can help me point me in the right direction.
Agreed. Well, I suppose we'll have to probably go to both of these stores to find the pieces we need. But I suppose crossbow's an easy thing to get.
Ideally.
Let's go. Actually, I think we'll go Beyond Supply first.
Yep.
See if they've got some form of compact rope.
Sure. Beyond Supply. Go up to the front, and there are quite a range of things in the display cabinet at the front. You've got a couple of simple weapons. You've got little things like shovels and pitons and stuff like that. And as you enter, it is quite the crammed shop. There are things that are kind of put on a shelf and then pushed over, and then something else has been put in between it so it doesn't fall off. And everything is delicately just balancing. Even some of the shelves are not even level. They're kind of like one of the nails has drooped down, so everything's kind of just sitting towards the end of the shelf. And you think if you pull out one thing, the whole thing might crash down. And the aisles are quite small as well. Even you guys kind of can feel the shelves just past your shoulders on either side. And as you kind of enter the shop, you hear the heavy footsteps boom, 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 coming round as the horned, broad-shouldered Minotaur puts his head round one of the shelves and goes, "Oh, hello. I wasn't expecting visitors today. Please, welcome to Beyond Supply. I am Samuk." As this Minotaur has quite dark brown fur and a little goatee off his chin and quite bushy eyebrows. Are you looking for anything in particular?
Yes, my friend here has a idea for something, a little project we're going to work on.
Oh, ideas! I love ideas. Please, come. And he brings you up to the front of the shop, which is not any less cramped. As he kind of moves his way behind the counter, just knocking a couple of shelves on the way, and they kind of just tilt as his horns scrape across one of the candelabras that are dangling from the ceiling. I can check my books on anything we have all sorts here. It's a collection of oddities and anything that might pleasure your interests.
Wonderful. I think the first thing we are hoping to find is some form of a rope, but it needs to be. We need to be able to make it compact, and it has to be strong.
Strong rope, compact.
Perhaps steel wire or. I don't know. Any idea?
It needs to be flexible as well.
Yes, I think I have just the thing. Not so much steel, but woven from some fabrics that are quite hard to tear. Yeah, give me a second. He turns around, and as he does, a vase kind of just rests on the edge of the counter before coming back. You go to reach out, and then that's pretty much the idea. As he goes out back, and you hear a comes back out, and he puts on the counter it's like a dark purple, looks almost silkish rope. And it doesn't kind of intertwine, it's kind of just almost like a matte color. As he kind of puts it on the counter there. 50 foot of this silk rope I have here. What cost am I charging you guys? Expensive. So, sorry. That'll be 15 gold for 50 foot.
Do you have any more?
I can probably find some. Let me check how many I can find. 2. I have 2 total.
Okay. I think 1 is probably enough. I don't know. Currently, I think you could do 60 feet, but 50 feet is fine. That's still a huge distance for what it's doing. Especially given the kind of the concept of you could shoot it, get somewhere, turn around and shoot it again.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is your crossbow may even fire accurately for 100 feet,
Oh yeah, it wouldn't be 100. It's more do I want it to be 60 feet? But I think 50 feet is probably fine. Especially, I don't know, Reese, if you would rule you had to use 10 feet of it to tie it on, then I'd probably want to get the second one. It's going to be, it's essentially 50 feet
Yeah,
range. once it's
I'm going to say
built.
like you can have 50 feet of range.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, well, that's fine. We'll, yep. Well, that's the first thing. We'll definitely take one of those.
So yes, there will be 15 gold pieces.
Well, I think there might be a few other things.
Oh, sure, of course.
I mean, I'm happy to, if you want, if it's just easier for you,
Yep.
Reese, I can start. I'll write it down so I know how
Yeah,
much to take out.
if you can note it.
Yeah, no, perfect. Easy.
So the rope is 15 feet. Actually, what might be easier?
It's that classic thing of like, in a real shop, they would be like, yeah, that's this and it is and this and this. But when you're like, let me do mental arithmetic, it's
Yes.
one at a time.
So what I'm going to do is, this is the shop list I introduced to you guys last campaign and let you look at in the one shot we did. So it obviously has the prices and the availability and stuff. So I'm going to keep that to myself. But it means it will be easier than me looking through the whole list and stuff, that you guys can actually just reference it. So I'll send it in Messenger, and I'll also send it in Discord as well.
Waterside.
Yeah, so you don't have to. He's just the adventuring supplies.
Yeah. All good.
But anything on that list, you can have a look at. And he is expensive cost.
Yeah.
Cool.
Don't worry about the locations.
I'll buy some. I don't think it's on here, but I'll buy some chalk.
Yeah, sure. Some chalk. You're right, that's interesting. It's not on here.
There's like ink. No, it would be way less. I was like 15 gold. Like chalk is not costing you 15 gold. Like a couple of silver, surely.
Yeah, let's just go 1 gold for a bunch of chalk.
Cool. Anything else we need from here, Monikov? Or you need from here?
I think he's just sort of now, probably while you guys were sorting out that, it's just sort of now looking at like different pieces of scrap, and I think he's going to try and scrounge up as many like little cogs and something that he thinks he can put together. Maybe he has to buy like a few extra pieces because he's not sure what's going to work. But obviously he's trying to create something that could be a winch.
Cool. I'm going to say, let's roll a dice for that.
It's like a block and tackle.
Yep. Yep, he can charge you 15 gold pieces for that.
Are you writing that down?
Yeah, I got it.
Sweet.
I mean, other than the actual crossbow, is there anything else we need? And the power source, I suppose, but...
Some ideas for this. Should we see about maybe using... My friend, do you know how friendly or welcoming the person who runs... What's it called?
Hammersmith?
Hammersmith.
Oh, yes.
That's because they're always drunk.
Yeah. That would be Daz Ormond. One of the mountain dwarves that has found work in the city. A bit of a short temper, but means well. And yes, well, he has a bit more of the what would you call it? Weapons and armor and those for more lethal use. Quite a good smith, I will say. But he does charge quite a price there.
Understood.
Now, you would be more than welcome to go harbourside and find a stall of someone trying to make their way in the world, but you'll be paying less, but you'll be getting less quality from us that work hard at our trade.
Couldn't agree more. Well,
Something I'm wanting to trust my life to. I'd rather it works.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, shall we see what he has for offer?
Yes, let's go.
Uh,
I'll pay up.
Sure. So total of
I think it's 31.
awesome. And anything
31
for you? Keeping quiet in the back there. Looks at Hera.
Oh, no, these are not quite my sort of things and stuff. Molokov is the man for the job when it comes to these sorts of supplies. I'm, like you said, sorry, just the quiet one at the back. Don't
Do you need anything,
worry
Molokov?
about me.
I was looking through the list. There's nothing in particular that I need right now. If I think of anything that I want to grab,
Yeah.
I think we're here for a couple of days anyway, so
Sure.
I'll come back if there's anything that comes to mind.
Alrighty.
I think I just got 100 pieces of chalk.
100 pieces of chalk?
I was just putting it in. It's like cost for one piece of chalk is 1 copper.
Oh, okay. You can adjust it to that then.
No, that's fine. Gold doesn't. It doesn't matter. I've got. It doesn't matter. It's more just like I just won't ever have to buy it again. It's
Yep.
fine.
Yep. Cool. Alrighty. So
Probably ask you for some chalk at some point.
yeah,
Draw runes on a wall or something.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's for like navigation and stuff. I think it'd just be handy.
yeah. Good choice. All right. As you move back out into the street again, this time you approach the Hammered Smith Armory, and there is no closed door here. It seems like they've been pinned back to let the airflow come through, and the heat does not change between coming in and out of the store. You go in, and it is very much a workshop. There are tools lying around. There are bits of armor up on the wall, a couple of half-finished swords, and the furnace at the back is roaring. And you see a dwarven male with a big beard that is kind of tied and slung over his shoulder, and he is in kind of those leather overalls, has some goggles up on his forehead, turns around and goes, "Oh, just be with you in just a minute." Finishes putting something in the furnace, and comes back and turns around. Right, I don't think you had a booking or anything today, but I've got a bit of time. How can I help you?
Well, hello. Well, my name is Molokov. I am I share your passion for creation.
Passion for creation. Well, I've heard that a couple of times.
I was hoping if there was maybe a thing or two I could purchase off you, first of all, but my second question is, if you would be so kind, is there some form of a fee I can pay to maybe use your workshop from time to time?
Use my workshop. You think I just let any run off the street come in and use my tools? You'd be dreaming.
I assure you, I am no urchin off the street. I have a few things to prove myself, and I will show both 2 rings that I'm wearing, one being my mark
Yep.
and one being Wolzag's mark, my original trainer.
Yep. He will kind of look into them and... Oh, my apologies. I don't often see those kind of folks around here. Aye. Not a fee you'll have to pay, but just a general taking care of the workshop would be up to standard. Usually takes a week or so to get anything done around here, but you're more than welcome to come and tinker.
I appreciate it greatly.
Now, in terms of purchasing, you're looking for something specific.
Yes, a crossbow. It needs to have. I think it needs to be quite a large one. Preferably, I don't know the technical words to describe it. I want something, kind of in that specific way of what we're looking for.
I think it's like it's a hand crossbow, but maybe one that's like instead of having wooden, like bow part, it's metal or something, to help just really punch it.
Yep.
Send it a lot, give it a lot of force
Yeah,
or
and
something
maybe,
like that.
and maybe like look through a few of them to find
Yeah.
one that's got like a head, like where the head comes out, it would actually fit a crossbow.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, a grappling hook quite well.
Oh, hand crossbow. I can do those. And what's the? You seem to be looking for a different kind of purpose for it.
Yes, well, we have this idea for. We've collected a few pieces now, and we hope to maybe have some form of grappling hook attached to the end of it.
Grappling hook on a crossbow. Aye, you are a bit of a strange folk. Well, nevertheless, I'm never going to say no to an invention. I do have a few hand crossbows we can modify in that way. Let me see. And he turns around and has a couple that are hanging on a chain kind of thing. We'll have to replace this and make an adjustment to that, but I'll be willing to sell you this hand crossbow for 100 gold pieces.
As long as it looks like it's fit for purpose.
It's going to be a hand crossbow, for all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
But I would sell it for you for 100 gold pieces if you do the work to it.
Oh, of course. I think that was the intention. Done.
Sounds reasonable to me.
All right. You can do 100 gold for that hand crossbow.
Not 400. It would be a lot more money.
But
you can go into the negatives.
Anything else you're looking for, I can supply, or I can try and put together. It might take me some time, but always happy to do bulk deals on these things.
Did anyone else have anything they wanted here?
I think I'm just going to, again, look through some of, I guess, the different crossbow bolts and find just like a long, heavy...
Yep.
Something along those lines.
That can just be included in the cost.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, Puck's already got it like attached to something, and
Yep.
maybe it's just a slightly different version of that or something.
Yeah, but I imagine for like because like it's a grappling hook on a rope at the moment, right?
Yeah, but it's attached to something that can fire out of the crossbow.
Oh, right, of course, yeah.
So I have used it before, but what this is like,
that's
the upgrade
right.
for this is like it'll be able to winch you back up.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, but that's cool. Yeah, whatever. Was there anything you guys wanted? Puck's feeling a little bit generous.
Oh.
Just in terms of like, is there any equipment you guys want? And I'll ask the guy. I'll say, I understand you're a blacksmith and an armorer, but is there anything in here that has been traded in, or anything that is of a magical nature?
Magical nature, not from me. No, that's not something I deal with straight away. But I've been thinking about getting into that kind of scene if there are clientele for it. It gives the impression that if you were to frequent him often, there might be some magic items in the future.
Yeah, cool.
I suppose to answer the question, remember that idea I had a wee while ago? Yeah, I think I just need to know your thoughts and feelings on that before
I would say that you could purchase the materials for what it would say, and then you can flavor that as building it.
Wonderful. Then in that case, since I already have a fair chunk of scrap, how generous are you feeling, young Puck?
I mean, there are limits, of course, but if you need a new sword or something, I can definitely help you with that.
I was hoping to maybe give the old tin can a bit of an upgrade.
What kind of cost are we talking about? He says, reading the 2,000 gold piece cost for things like plate.
Definitely not looking at plate right now. No, I was thinking as a player, I'm thinking of more going up the tiers. So I think the next one I'd be going for would be mail, which would only increase it by my AC by 1. And And I think that if I
Like ring mail. Oh, this has got different things because
yeah,
it's not a 5e
it's not going to be.
supplement.
It's not obviously it's not going to be that armor,
Yeah,
but it's going to be the equivalent AC at that cost, is the way I'm imagining.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
The idea being that it's still going to stay as his quite steampunky armor.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
it's
sure.
going to be me adding to it rather than, oh, I go and buy armor from this blacksmith, I
Yep.
paint some runes on it, and now it's
Yeah.
my arcane armor.
No,
To me, that didn't quite sound or feel right.
Yep.
But if we are talking let me have a look at it.
So it's so weird because there's a chain shirt, there's scale. This is on like the 5e stuff. There's a
Yeah,
chain
yeah.
shirt, there is scale mail, and then there's ring mail and chain mail. There's like just so many different bits.
Yeah. Yeah, I think chainmail was the one I was looking at because chain shirt's just the
It's so funny. Like, just this is just the way D&D works, obviously. But like, because I get to add my full Dex modifier, having studded leather armor is really good for me because it gives me a pretty solid AC. It's like it's the best because if I get more protective armor, I start having disadvantage on stealth.
Yeah.
Or I can only add +2 of my modifier. I'm like, well, that's most of my AC is coming from the modifier.
Yeah.
hang on, that's 15. Oh, hang on. Yeah, okay, yeah, sweet. Yeah, so it would be chain mail, which costs 75 gold, 75 gold.
Yeah.
And I believe the exchange rate for scrap to thing is doubled.
So for chainmail,
Oh yeah, sorry.
He's quite expensive. He's going to charge you the expensive one, which is 113.
113, yep. So I can actually afford that myself, to be fair. Oh, maybe if pucked through in 25 gold, so I wasn't dirt cheap. Dirt poor by then.
Yeah, I thought 25 gold.
All right, sweet. So that added with that.
Oh, I've got Electrum as well. Damn.
Yeah, that's your scrap.
Electrum is the scrap,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So that brings it up to 50. And then I need 100, which is another
113.
Yeah.
I can do more
Hang
if you
on,
need more.
No, I'm just trying to work out how much gold I'm actually taking off now. Hang on. So 113 times 2. 226. So minus 50 for that.
So while you do that, here, are you looking at anything in the armory?
No, we went from the general store to like the armory store. I probably would have just like waited by the door.
Okay.
Just watching people outside, doing a little bit of people watching, just observing the city. But I think Hero doesn't really need to buy anything at the moment.
Sure. Give me a perception check.
Probably sort of. So close to being good. Perception. That's an 8.
8. Notice quite a lot of people moving around and stuff. You feel like eyes are on you occasionally, but it might be that you're just new in town and people are looking at you as they walk past, but then they look at someone else and it doesn't mean anything.
Probably more keeping an eye out for Vargeir and Ghost, but not spotting them, sort of thing. Just being like, is that? Oh no, that's not a giant bugbear.
Yeah.
Just a horse pulling a cart. But yeah, no, just sort of waiting for the boys. Pretty shocked out.
Love it. So did you work out that gold, Markov?
Yep, it was 66 that I had to take off, not including the 25 from.
Sure.
Yeah, just 25. That's fine. I'll do that.
Cool. So I now have the ability to upgrade it. So I assume I'll have to take some time working on it.
Yep.
And, which, I mean, if you don't mind, I would love to try and start right away.
No problem with me. You're welcome here anytime.
Appreciate it. I really do. I don't want to. I'll try not to step on your toes too much.
Yes, please don't. You'll know about it if you do.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
I don't have toes. I have hoofs.
All right. So if you're
Jay
going to,
just said-
Yeah. I suppose if I'm going to stay in.
Jay just said what?
little-
Sorry, I know that you're saying Jade. I muted because she wanted to say something, but I have to tell you guys she has to do reports today and / tomorrow, and she's already done like 6 or 7 of them, and she's got, I think there's 28 total. And she was like, I'm going to take a little break and then I'll get back into it. So she went off and she was like, I'm going to roll my new dice and I'm going to roll D20 and that'll decide how many more I have to do today. And she rolled a fucking nat 20. Well, the dice have spoken, now you have to do the rest of it. Now I know.
That's brilliant.
That's so rough.
That's right. All right. So, Puck and Hera, you are leaving Molokov behind in this, which will tie nicely. But is there anything else you'd like to do for the rest of the day?
Some ominous music.
I
not
I
necessarily.
probably just want to head back to the Golden Dragon,
Sure.
dump a bunch of
Maybe-
stuff off, kill some time before I have to go pick up
Yeah.
my earrings.
Do you want to go past the I forgot what it's like, the market district, and just see what's there? If there's anything that's interesting,
Yeah.
we can just walk past it on our way. I want to go talk to Ghost about this as well, like the crossbow thing.
Sure.
But yeah,
Isn't the
we'll
market
happily.
district like by the harbour?
Yes. Yeah, it's up by the harbour.
I think I'll be okay for. We have a couple of days in town. If you spot anything that you think I might be interested, you could let me know.
Sure.
All right. So what I'm going to say is, when you get back to the Golden Dragon, you'll find Flynn there, the halfling. He'll welcome you in and say that Vargir and Ghost have already been through, but he's received message from House Roscoe to provide you with 3 rooms. So he gives you the keys, hands them over, and you can leave some of your stuff there. And there is also a letter from Shapiro, and it says, your payment is ready, and your spells will be ready to be handed over. The next mission briefing has been started to come together. We will give you a couple of days in town, and be ready to brief you in about a week. So we'll end the session there, and I've already messaged Michael and Seb as well. But what I'll do is I'm going to give you guys a list of downtime activities of which you can select from, and they can have roles that affect the outcomes. So I'll do that individually over the week, and then we can come together. I'll send you the list of anything you can shop for, and then we can kind of summarize that at the start of next session and go into the briefing with the House Jarosco, if that sounds good. So you can pick up your earrings now, Hera.
That's good.
And then, yeah, I will send you the list of the possibilities, and we can go with the outcomes next time.
Sounds great.
So,
Thanks, Reese. Good session.
yeah, great session.